England may be the home of Formula One, with Silverstone the host of the inaugural Grand Prix held 67 years ago in 1950. But Spain is its heartland, more specifically the cosmopolitan Catalonian capital, Barcelona, which all the drivers love.
So always go running down by the beach, which is a beautiful place, and then you've got great architecture within the city, so it's a very young, kind of sexy city.
The vibrant Spanish city is also home to the circuit that all of the F1 teams know better than any other as the sport's preferred test track, which over the years has seen many launches and shakedowns, from its completion back in 1991, ahead of Barcelona's 1992 Olympic Games. The city within easy reach of all the F1 teams' European bases. It's also heavily used for testing, both by tyre suppliers and teams, which have relentlessly pounded the 4.65-kilometre track for years. Its combination of corners and abrasive surface, a good representation of many different circuits right throughout the world. But it's actually the fifth host of the F1 Spanish Grand Prix since the first in 1951. After Pedralbes, Jarama, Montjuic, and Jerez from 1986 until 1990, which returned as the European GP in 1994 and 1997. At Barcelona, there's been plenty of classic races, with drivers pushed to the limit across a full Grand Prix distance.
The racing is tough. It's really tough, because again, it's hot, but it's so physical.
The inaugural Grand Prix there in 1991 saw Nigel Mansell make an epic pass on Ayrton Senna for second, on his way to the lead and the win. 1996 was the scene of Michael Schumacher's first win for Scuderia Ferrari in torrential conditions, finishing 45 seconds ahead of Jean Alesi. In 2001, the German won in Barcelona for the third time, a lucky grab after his arch-rival Mika Häkkinen's engine expired on the final lap. 2012's event will always be special to Venezuelan Pastor Maldonado, who earned his one and only win there from pole position, though had to hold back a hard-charging Fernando Alonso in the closing laps. While last year marked the nadir of Nico Rosberg's relationship with his teammate Lewis Hamilton, the pair crashing into each other on the way to turn 4. Rosberg closing the door on his teammate, who was committed to a rapidly disappearing gap. The double retirement opened the door for a young gun, Max Verstappen, who'd been switched with Daniil Kvyat after the previous race in Russia.
I know what they have done in the history of Formula One. They're very competitive, and I'm also a very competitive person, so hopefully it's a perfect match.
He grabbed the opportunity with both hands, holding back Kimi Räikkönen for 56 laps on the soft tyres, immediately proving himself as the once-in-a-generation driver, his maturity standing him out amongst his peers.
With 5 laps to go, I thought, okay, now we have to win this race, because I saw Kimi struggling with his tyres as well, and from there onwards I was just, okay, make no mistakes, get a good exit out of the last corner, and that should give you the win.
Verstappen and teammate Daniel Ricciardo may be in the mix this year, if the team's upgrades provide much-needed pace to close the gap to front-runners Mercedes and Ferrari. Michael Schumacher is the most successful in Barcelona with 6 wins. Mika Häkkinen has 3, Nigel Mansell, Kimi Räikkönen and Fernando Alonso have 2. And there's been 10 different winners in the last 10 years. However, upgrades won't likely help local hero, 2-time F1 world champion Alonso, who is yet to finish a Grand Prix this year. Toro Rosso's Carlos Sainz will likely grab points though, having scored at 3 of the first 4 events, the Spaniard 9th in the standings. Regardless, it will be a fascinating contest, with most of the teams bringing upgrades, potentially shuffling the order ahead of F1's mid-season push. It's time to tango in Barcelona.